All right, let's go for it. Welcome to another final viewing. Today we are going to be talking about the movie Halloween Kills,
Oh yeah.
the new Halloween Kills, right?
So how do you want
it-
to start this, Ray? You go first. Your memory is obviously going to be a bit sharper than
okay,
mine.
well, I mean, let me just give a little bit background on this movie. It's directed by David Gordon Green, and I think produced by Jason Blum from Blumhouse.
So
They
hey,
were actually on. I didn't realize who this person was, but when I was watching Joe Bob the other day when they did that Halloween hoedown or something,
sure.
I didn't realize that David Gordon Green was the director of Halloween Kills. I thought it was just some random actor
I was
involved in it or something.
when I was checking out our mutual possible future and current buddy associate on his podcast thing that were when they were interviewing that fucking guy Michael. Oh fuck, what's his name?
Anthony
Michael
Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall, excuse me. I always get his names backwards. But anyways,
He's a legend in the industry.
of course. Anywho, the thing that he said that I thought was kind of interesting, and that's why I was going to try to look up really quick some information on this movie. One of the writers for this was Danny McBride.
Yeah, he's the one. He's been involved in it since the original.
I hadn't known that. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I
which
don't
I
know if
thought
he's the. I mean, is Danny McBride a writer
it's a part of
for this movie?
No, like he's that little actor dude, man.
No. I know
What?
who Danny McBride is. I'm just saying,
I
is
don't
he a writer or
understand.
was he a producer on this movie?
I believe he was a writer. Like he was, there was like three or so, a few of them writing, and he was part of a team.
Oh yeah. Danny McBride was a part of the writing team.
Shit, what the fuck? Okay.
Interesting.
Anyways,
The
just some
ghosts
technical
already
difficulties.
attacking.
They don't like. They really. They weren't happy with. What the fuck was the last movie Danny McBride was in? The one where like he fights a minotaur or some shit, like cuts off its dick and like hangs it around his neck. I forgot what that one was called.
Oh wait, are you talking about the one with Seth Green, like
I think so.
the one where the rapture happens?
No, dude. This one was like ye olde times.
Oh,
where, like, they go
Your
back in
Highness.
time. Your Highness, yeah. That's what I was trying to remember.
I like that movie. I think it's funny.
I mean, it was worth watching a few times, kind of. Like it's a cool like group movie. Get some beers, have some food,
Yeah, sure.
sit there and just laugh at a bunch of dumb shit.
I know his name attached to a horror movie like this seems a little bit, I guess, off-putting, or
I mean, no. I wouldn't say it's off-putting. It's very much a surprise. You know,
sure. I would say like depending on if you know who Danny McBride is, you should have like a few reactions, either like a confusion or surprise.
Yeah,
or,
exactly. It's unexpected.
Like they think like
you know,
people might think like he's a comedic actor.
Yeah,
Or a comedic writer, director, actor, like, is that what this is going to turn into? Because I mean,
exactly.
If
and you know what, dude,
we recall
you know
like
what?
the last movies that were Halloween were from Rob Zombie, and you know how those turned out.
All right, I'd like to ask you something really quick. While I have it in my head here, I didn't watch the first, part of this. I went in and I just watched Halloween Kills because it's like I don't need to watch it. As far as I'm concerned, like it's another Michael story, and I'm like, okay, cool. So you have a general idea of what's going on.
Can I ask you a question? How many did you skip before you watched The Curse of Michael Myers?
Oh, I never. So like growing up, I never skipped them. Like I would just watch them as they were available, because I couldn't. When we rented movies and stuff, we had to like. It was always like, okay, what does the family want? I couldn't be like, let's get Killer Clowns from us, Attack of Killer Clowns or some shit, or whatever. The fuck.
Then you meant Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and you combine it with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I was thinking of that shit in my head, but I meant to say, yeah. But anyways, like, yeah, there's no way I could say anything like that and be taken seriously. They'd be like, "Oh, you're fucking dumb. We're gonna watch Aladdin 3 or some shit." Like,
oh, that's way better, of course.
I'm glad you agree, Ray.
Yeah, that is way better.
No, like I've seen most, if not all, of the fucking Halloween movies. I don't actually think I've sat through all of Season of the Witch, even though I think the both of us. I know you have it on disc. I don't know if I do. But anyways,
It's one of I enjoyed it a lot. Like I mean,
my question though,
I
I'm
won't even
sorry.
talk
Go
about
ahead.
I won't
Go
even
ahead.
talk about Halloween 3 right now because then I'm gonna get into it.
So
No,
okay, my
continue.
question though, back to my question had been, watching part one. Do you? I wanted to ask you about like the kills that happened in part one. Do they compare at all to the second one? Like,
I
because
there the
I
second
really
one
liked how
I think
brutal
the
and
second
shit
one
it
kind of went a
was.
little bit further with the kills
Yeah,
as far
I
as
thought it
like
was really
the
brutal.
graphic nature of them because I mean some of them were pretty graphic in the original, but
Yeah,
not as graphic as they are in the
as in
second
this
one.
one.
I think
So like, did
I think they
you?
focus primarily. Just a quick thought on the movie. Like I think they focus
Yeah,
primarily
yeah,
on kills because it's Halloween kills. So basically, that's
yeah.
all he's doing is
I
just
mean, it was
killing
pretty
a
much
shit
a
ton of people.
massacre. I don't know that I've seen a Halloween movie where he kills this many people.
I have no
Like,
idea. I mean,
and like,
I don't
cause
recall
and the
I don't
other
recall like that
another
many like
thing.
happening and then that
I
graphic.
mean, I'm
And
sure you'd be able to hazard a guess, Ray. But like, if it had been an obvious no, you would have just said so. But the thing that I think about as far as all the other Halloween movies is that he's always like one on one or one on a small group of people, and in this one, like an entire fucking town like comes after him, and he just like they turn the the mob mentality joke on its head, of course, which is easy to see, and like he fucks them all up, which is awesome. But like the reason I had asked you about the you know the violence in the first one and then compared to the second one was that I was segueing that from Danny McBride being a writer in comedy. It had sort of made me thought about how funny a lot of these kills are, and like they're cheesy or like comical, but also like I think it might have a bit to do more along the lines of the fact that Michael has the mind of a fucking child. And like, so he does all these silly things like hang somebody up from a fucking swing set or like put people on the merry-go-round and like, prop them up against each other and give it a spin. Or like he sees a couple that he recently kills and like he sees them in a picture and like he props them up, in the same
yeah,
pose, in the reverse of that pose.
mhm.
But like seeing all these things, like I laughed. Like I told you before, I was in the theater with just like a few people, and like my funniest reaction was when Michael's getting shot by a woman and she's got a straight up like fucking like a desert eagle or some shit, and she's just like walking towards. She's this little woman walking towards him in as he's sitting in the car driver's seat, just blasting away and like missing, completely fucking missing. And you just see him stare at her, and he just sort of kicks the door open and like because she keeps walking towards it, like what the fuck are you doing, lady? You have a gun. Why are you going? Oh, like it's a gun. You stay away. So like he just kicks the door open, knocks the gun, like flaps it around, and she like shoots herself in the head or some
Yeah.
shit. Like I laughed my ass off. Like it was so fucking sudden. She's just gunk, gunk, boom, and like she's just there.
I didn't really like see the kills in any
Humor so
humorous
much.
way. I did enjoy
No.
them as far as like
I mean,
just how
like
they
even in
were.
like there were more ridiculous sense, like when he goes after the firefighters and cracks out that monster saw.
No,
And you're just like,
I just thought that was
you
cool.
know,
Like I didn't
I
really
mean,
like
it
think like,
absolutely
oh,
was, but
I didn't think, oh, that's
I mean,
funny.
cool in a sense where it's almost, or rather, I like, no, not cool, but I mean, like, again, like the violence and like the methods he uses are somewhat so sort of like over the top and or sort of childish that
Well,
it
think
again,
about
like
it.
it
I mean,
just
that's the way he
makes
did
me
it in the
laugh.
original too. Like for instance, whenever he kills
Was
that
it?
girl, after she is like her and her boyfriend had sex, and he kills the boyfriend and like pops him up onto the fucking door, and then he puts on that ghost, the sheet, and like just stands there like a ghost with
Yeah.
with his glasses on, and then she kind of like tries to like lure him back
Jerk
into
him
bed, and
off
then
or
he
some
kills her
shit.
that way too. Though that
Yeah.
is like basically what he did in the original.
I mean, yeah.
I don't
When
know
he's
like
dressed up as a
when I
kid.
watched any of the ones after that, like even like part 4, part 5, when they got like I don't know if he was as like I would say theatrical with his kills. It was more just like stab, stab, like that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
that's what I'm used to seeing from him. And in this one, like, I mean, he was pretty creative. Like, even when he
Yeah,
did get, you know, like, I mean, yeah, like they got him away from using the fucking like kitchen knives or whatever. They're still
yeah,
there quite a bit, but for the most part, like he just he literally is just like, oh, cool, what's this? Stab, like
Well, one of the ones I thought was pretty
he like picks up
interesting.
a stapler or some
Whenever he sees the light bulb, and he smashes it, and then like
shit.
sticks it in
The
that
fluorescent
that
light.
lady, the fluorescent light. Yeah,
I was
And-
thinking that was such a funny death because of how she gurgles and shit. It just sounded so funny. I was thinking like that actress must have had a lot of fun just sitting there and be like, like, okay, it's time.
but yeah, I mean,
That
like
was a pretty
the kills
cool.
themselves. I
That
mean,
was a
seem-
really that whole thing was very cool. There was no real plot to this. Like it was mostly just, watch Michael just wander around.
Right.
Which is what I liked about it is that they sort of de-emphasized not necessarily like the mystique behind him, but like they made it so that
I don't know.
it
if-
wasn't as
I don't.
important.
I don't
Like,
know.
it was like it was very like they oversimplified it, which is cool because
I don't know.
it's
I
like,
don't know if you're aware of this, but if you look in the credits and stuff, like Michael Myers is not Michael Myers and so. It's the Shape. And in the original,
Shape?
he's not Michael Myers, the character. He's just the Shape, the person.
Shape. No,
yeah,
I've
the
never
killing.
seen that.
Yeah, like
The fuck is
that's
that?
that's the original. That's the original. I guess
Like design for him.
title for that John Carpenter had. It's just the Shape. He is just a mass that kills.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that makes perfect sense. He
But
has no.
I think that's one thing that people weren't aware of because like the mystique of Michael Myers has gone on throughout the movies. We know him as Michael Myers, so he has a background. He has a sense of character. He has
Right.
there's an identity to him, but as the
Right.
Shape, he is just something that kills. Hence
There's-
why like
yeah,
we don't really
there's-
see his face in the movie. Like every time they should like his mask,
No,
if his mask comes off,
He's in the shadow.
he's just they blur it out and stuff. Like
Or,
they
they
pull back
blur
a
it.
lot. You know, like that's
I liked that. I was really afraid that they were gonna fuck that up and do something stupid, and be like, here he is.
he's gonna look like
Donkey
Sloth from the
Shrek or
Goonies and
some
shit. Like,
Yeah.
or like you know,
No,
like when they did that with
Jason.
Jason Voorhees, and they
Yeah.
pulled off his mask and he's like just completely deformed and shit
Yeah.
like
He's
that.
like his fucked up face.
Yeah,
But that's seems to me that works because like the idea for Jason is that he is very clearly dead.
yeah. In some
And for
form or
Michael,
fashion.
like you get no suggestions to what he is at all. He's a guy in a mask, and like he goes around and just tanks bullets and fucking gets stabbed and burned and fucking run over and just like everything. Like he's basically Jason just with less.
I heard.
I want to say less agency because
I read some description that I don't know how to take this, whether it was good or bad, but that people feel, or someone, whoever wrote this, felt that the character of Michael Myers or the Shape or whatever you want to call him, they just turned him into this in this movie. They turned him into like a lobotomized like war tank. Like you mentioned before, he's just going around killing. Like there's nothing that can stop him. He's just killing.
But he's
And-
lobotomized. That's not true at all. Like he's got like some kind of mental issue, not a deformity or maybe an infirmity is the word I'm trying to think of, but like he had like what seems to be some sort of developmental issue, and that crossed over into some fucking like psychopathic tendencies or some kind of bullshit where he goes fucking nuts.
Yeah, but if you say that, then you're kind of opening the door to like this whole.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Like, right.
he's
can't
just-
really say a lot of any of these because it
seems
gives-
like him
it
calling him
gives-
the Shape. He's just someone
like,
who has no sense of
no backstory or any of this kind of like ridiculous origin. Oh, it's because he had this trauma as a child where like
and
he fell into a well and like a dozen dogs went in and took a shit on him or something like that, and now like
But that's what Rob Zombie did, and that's what I didn't like about his version.
It's funny you say that because like I had that same conversation with someone before when I was telling you I met up with the guy from the guys that interviewed Michael Anthony Hall.
And
had told
Anthony
me the same
Michael
thing.
Hall.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
They told me the same thing. He was like he didn't like what Rob Zombie tried to do, which is like
Trouble
Rob Zombie's
boy
great.
turns crazy kind of thing.
Yeah, like he oversimplifies things and like he makes it into like just all right. This is like a old 70s slasher. Like it's just here's a one line subject for the entire movie. Let's run with it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like it doesn't work. Because then he has to go Rob Zombie on it and give it all this fucking like, you know, like occult fucking grindhouse, goddamn like sort of background themes or whatever.
Which I don't mind in general, but like if you're taking on a property like Halloween,
exactly. For the purposes of this, it's like, what are you doing, man? You're like just.
You're killing the vibe.
This isn't a Halloween movie. Like he could have just taken that out and given him a different mask or no mask at all or something, and it would have just been fine. It would have been a different movie. Like it wasn't one of those things.
Yeah, I hated like sitting there with the.
I never watched those movies.
I did. I gave him a chance. You know, like I'll give most Rob Zombie movies a chance. I mean, I like some of his past movies as well.
Yeah, again, like, and I'm not a fan, but like I still think it's cool what he does. And I mean, like it's not that I'm not a fan. I am. But I'm not I don't care for his. What I mean to say is like I don't really necessarily enjoy his movies. I think they're interesting though. Yeah, that's.
I will give a quick review of 31, which I saw, and I was bored out of my fucking mind. I was so bored watching that movie.
You know what, dude? It's really funny because I heard the same thing about that shit from someone else, and I was like, what?
I was so bored. I was like, this movie sucks. Like, anyways, going back to the movie, we have Jamie Lee Curtis. It's basically continuing from the original one. Since you didn't see the original one, Roland, I mean, basically, it's just
so like
it's just as it leaves off.
Flashback in the movie, right?
What's that?
Sort of go. There's like a little intro flashback where they just sort of summarize the previous part of what was happening. So,
I mean, this is all you need to know.
Right?
This is all you need to know about the first one. Michael Myers escapes again, goes after Laurie Strode. She's been preparing all these years because of the original movie. She has this like fucking trap house.
Right.
Her and her daughter, her daughter, and her daughter and the husband. Husband dies because they mentioned that in the second one. They trap him. They trap him at the bottom. It's a very empowering kind of moment. They set it on fire. They leave. Obviously, it was all for nothing because he escapes again. Continuing on with that same night. And by the way, Halloween night apparently on this day is fucking long. Like it seems like it takes forever.
Holy shit!
I don't think I've ever I was like, if the Halloween night lasted that long, I go, you could like really have some fun.
So like, I'm wondering if the third movie is gonna fucking
the Halloween night still
or some shit. Yeah, it's still the same night.
Go. It's actually like 4 a.m. from 4 a.m. to 6.
Yeah.
So what did you like? Okay, so like just a real quick. Again, Jamie Lee Curtis is in the hospital right now, and Michael's running amok. He escapes. He kills all these firefighters.
Yeah.
And it's just a kill after kill after kill with Michael. What did you think about like Jamie Lee Curtis's role in this movie? Like she really didn't do anything.
So no, she didn't. But
she tried.
I liked it because of the implication that it had. So like the little flashbacks that they had of what's that other guy that was there with her, who the cop who shoots that other cop.
I don't remember his name.
Michael's. Well, anyways, that character has his little flashbacks, and like I think it's sort of they're in charge of the backstory for this. You know, they're not a part of like the main.
It was Frank. It was Frank, Deputy Frank.
The like the main conflict.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're there to act as like the context, and I thought it was interesting because they changed that too. The standard sort of, I guess, understanding is that Michael Myers is trying to kill all of his family, pretty much like Jason Voorhees, same thing. Is it just another thing
Well,
to
Jason Voorhees
amend
just trying to kill like the shitty
people that
camp
are around the
people that
fucking
are
camp?
around
But I
his.
thought there was a storyline at one point where he's like going after family or some shit. No.
No, there's no family with Jason
Okay.
Voorhees. It's just
All
like
right. Never mind.
these camp people are
Yeah, they're
breaking the
fucking up his
rules, and I
shit, and
gotta
he
kill
hates
them.
them.
You know.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so like supposedly the thing was that Michael is like going after his sister and like their family or like her descendants and all that, and they change that and change they basically say no. Like you thought that was the case, but it's actually not. Like he's just an evil fuck and he kills anyone that's around him. He kills and then he goes home. And it was a cool little thing to me that I mean another like there are a lot of interesting little details that they sort of use to uh define Michael very loosely, but in the same sense, like they give him some like interesting little psychology. The fact that like he goes back to his room and stares out the window, and
Mm.
everyone sort of wonders like, what is he looking at, you know? And then someone at the end is like, well, actually, he's looking at himself. Like he's not actually looking out the window. He's looking at the reflection.
Right.
And like he's thinking, I guess,
Mm.
but I don't know about being an evil fuck or something. And that was kind of a nifty little end too, as well. Like this was another one of those like full circle fucking kind of horror movies that made me think of like Candyman, where like they talk about like they foreshadow you know certain details and then like they just sort of come up and end up being like major sort of where like what you wouldn't have seemed to have been like expected to be like major sort of plot points and like end up becoming like, oh, okay, that's like an interesting little factoid or whatever that you know provides some kind of perspective on the character, and
Mm.
then like it ends past that where it's just like, okay, cool, I'm glad they didn't pull some bullshit where it's like, oh, they won, or like, you know, he was beaten back or something like that, or like he was stopped for now, or like it's like, no, you learned a few things about him and he wins and fucks
Mm.
everyone up basically. So I was like, okay, cool, the viewer gets to understand him a little better. The characters within the fucking story are all morons. They all fall for all the stereotypes, you know. They have a literal mob fucking like just stomping on him, you know, stabbing him and doing all that shit. They fucking like shoot his ass. They fucking ventilate him like point blank. And
I was gonna ask you, like, what did you think about the fact that they brought back original characters like Tommy Doyle and
I love that. I thought I don't know what you necessarily consider, but I always think that that's a great idea. Like it does a really good job of just showing continuity.
You see, like
You
I
know,
was totally fine with that. What I was kind of confused about was that like, was there certain folks in town that just didn't know who they were? I mean, at this point, the story
well,
should would
yeah.
have been
I
like
mean,
told.
like, so yes. The only arguments I could add for that are that it's over a 40-year period, so that's 2 generations roughly.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Some people might have moved away, other people's might have moved back, or because it's for the fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know.
What did you think
So
about? Did you think that was some kind of like commentary on the whole mob mentality thing? Because the minute they started like all
so
chanting "Evil dies tonight," and it just started to get
not
real cringy. I was like, was this supposed to
right,
be a humorous
yeah.
take on the mob mentality?
No,
Like,
I think
because
again, like I think there were some really hard sort of tropes that really standard classic tropes used in this. This is again another reason why I like this, and another reason that it reminded me of Candyman. Like it's sort of has a lot of like classic horror themes in it that I
Mhm.
really enjoyed. Again, the idea of the mob going in there, and you understand like it's going to be cheesy and cringy, but it's like everything that they did falls right into place with what you'd expect. A mob doesn't really, they're not very smart, they're not necessarily very aware, they're all like driven, you know, by the moment,
Mhm.
sort of they're caught up in the, you know, the chase, and then there's usually a regret scene or whatever after the fact where like everything calms down and
let's
people fucking like
let's
realize.
talk about the regret scene, all right? And can we agree that it's when that
It's pretty
dude
fucked up,
falls?
dude. Yeah.
Now,
I wanted to ask you, who is that character? Why do they even? Because like
okay.
there's
So
nothing that's explained about him.
that's from the first one.
I assume that's what I
He
assumed.
escaped with Michael Myers the first time, the shape, whatever, in the
Oh,
first one, and he's kind of lingering about town. We don't see him at all. Like he kind of just like goes away, but then they brought him back
yeah.
in the
Yeah,
second
and
one.
they mistakenly like think that it's Michael without his mask. I'm
Right,
like, are
yeah.
you fucking kidding me?
Like
look
I'm
at him.
like he's obviously not as tall as he is.
No, like
He's walking around
he
without a
looks
mask
nothing
and like
and
a
he's
gown
like
on too.
obvious, and he's non-confrontational. He's like having fucking anxiety attacks and shit. Man, like I didn't understand that at all. Like other than the sense that like again this follows the like a standard expectation of what a mob would do. They make a fucking mistake and somebody pays for it.
Right.
And he fucking died ugly, man.
That's one thing I want to talk about real quick. So
road pizza.
as the mob's trying to like go after him in the hospital, and Judy Greer, Karen, the Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter, she's kind of like trying to like find him and kind of protect him. I was like, did you really protect him? Did you even try? Did you try hard enough?
Do shit.
Because she locks the door, and he's kind of like stuck in between that little hallway.
Yeah, and he panics and doesn't know what the fuck to do because they start breaking in.
And I was like, as the mob is coming, like she didn't like really like get out there and be
no,
like,
yeah,
y'all
she
need
just
to stop.
stood there and kind of yelled at him.
Stop, guys, please! Like I was like, you could do just a little bit more to save this guy's life, but yeah, like him jumping up. Spoilers, he jumps out the window, and man,
turns into
I was speaking with someone, and they mentioned that scene made them a bit emotional because it was kind of sad that he dies.
It was like,
but
everybody gathers around him, and they're like, what?
Yeah, but I was like, and then they cut to immediately his like body that's just broken up.
He
on the street.
He fucking like. Yeah,
Parking
he
lot.
turned into like a fucking what's the first? He fucking like Gallagher'd himself. Like he just looked like a fucking busted ass watermelon on the pavement.
That's a good description. I was wondering what to kind of like compare it to, but like a Gallagher.
Like if somebody took a fucking hammer to a watermelon,
he was Gallagher'd basically is what.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the worst fall I've ever seen in a movie, and I go, even watching like Midsummer didn't seem as bad as that movie.
His legs are probably gonna be all twisty and shit, and just
fucking head like just cracked open and stuff
and shit. Yeah, and then like he was still alive. He gave a little like death twitch at the end there, I think, and like he had like his arm all fucking like behind his head or something like that, and the other one like, oh, it just looked sad, dude. It made me think of like. It made me think of The Fly. You know what? I was watching that and thinking, kill me.
Look, like I get they were trying to get like having like an emotional moment there.
Yeah.
But once I saw that body, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, no. I think I actually, you know what, dude? In the theater, I was like, wow.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good practical effects. I like it.
Yeah.
The fact that his body was like completely destroyed took me out of whatever would have been an emotional moment around with the mob.
No.
I was just like, oh, like shit, like that's fucked up. Like
yeah. I was like, but Michael, what is this? What is this? Like they
all I needed was someone to like in the crowd to be like, guys, we got him. Just start fucking walking away and shit.
They all show up in front of the cameras. Everyone, we caught him. He's just there like in front of him, fucking doing his little.
I have some like teenagers fucking with their phone, like fucking like filming the fucking dead body and stuff.
Yeah.
That whenever that mob, I didn't realize I saw some stills from the movie after the fact. And whenever like you have like Tommy with that fucking bat from the bar, and there's a lady with a fucking iron. I don't know if you saw a picture of that. Like an ironing,
like
an iron, for an ironing, like ironing shirts and shit.
What
she's walking. She's in the background with a fucking iron, and I'm like, was that on purpose? Was that to like, what was the reasoning for that. You have
Right.
some the mob again. Maybe the mob is dumb,
You
so
know
they
what?
grab any sort of stupid
know
weapon
what?
that they have in their house.
I'm gonna call that as humor.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
it's just
obviously,
something
like he's a
dumb.
fucking iron. Come on.
Something dumb. There's like somebody behind her, like with a fucking ironing board or some shit walking behind her, and like and an outlet so she can plug it in, because she wants to like steam people.
Yeah, like
I'm
that-
getting some
yeah.
fucking like
Is she have like a charging battery with her while she's one?
I'm
Like
getting
has
some
that?
return.
Yeah.
This movie does give me like Return of the Dead vibes, but
You think so?
only in the sense that you kind of need to see it and like recognize like something very fucking ridiculous and like out of place, and the fact that there are a lot of those moments in this movie. So like again, like all the fucking silly kills that happen in the playground.
Which I do want to mention, like those masks. That's straight fucking Halloween 3 masks right there.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I did like that little
recognize that
reference to it.
Let's see here. Let me think. I'm trying to think of like the moments when Michael sort of went after people. It was the elderly couple, the gay couple, Big John, Little John, which man, Big John, just that was probably one of the most brutal ones there. He just fucking, I think you could see his eye sockets pop out.
Oh right, yeah. Like that fucking kill was probably pretty harsh.
Yeah, for starters, like he stabs him in the armpit. Well, I see that, like that's one of those pains you could sort of relate to on a level, and you're just like,
yeah. You know what's funny? It's like I've never seen a kill from Michael Myers where he's done a kill like that. Like that's an intentional shot right there, right underneath the fucking armpit. Like someone like Michael would just go for like the throat or something,
right?
But under the armpit, that's like.
Yeah, and then he lifted him too,
yeah.
I think. Like he stabbed him and then fucking picked him up and then like put out his eyes.
I like how they stayed on the fuck that his eye that shot stayed on his eyes when he's gouging him out. Like I like that it just stayed there and like it seems somewhat nuts. It seemed somewhat painful.
Again, like I'd have to say like out of all the, and that's because for me like one of the most brutal movies was fucking Curse of Michael Myers, and like this takes that like go a completely different direction, and I like it. They made him like way more brutal, but again, like it's done in a way where you're like, okay, what would a child with the strength of a gorilla do when it wants to murder people? Like, yeah, he's gonna scoop out that guy's
like where
eyes
they
with
have
a
their
spoon.
focus, like there's nothing else other than
right,
killing.
exactly. You're not expecting anything particularly elaborate. These are all like do-it-yourself murder projects.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Let me see here. What do we got today? Let's check the junk drawer. We got a couple pens, some hand sanitizer, a rubber band. All right, let's make a guillotine. Kids, gather around. The Rube Goldberg of death machines or whatever.
I went to go see this in the theater, and I took my mother to go watch it.
I really liked it. Oh man, yeah. I was gonna ask you how did it go?
Well, I mean, my mother enjoyed it. Obviously, I mean, she likes the kills and stuff like that. She liked the.
Was she screaming anything at like the couples or whatever? Be like, oh, don't go around that corner, stupid.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
It was either like oh shit, oh fuck, like oh my god, I can't see this. I need to see this. I can't wait. And then like when the son gets smashed in with the neck and stuff like that, he like just fucking like snaps his neck and turns his head and shit like that.
Yeah.
She was like, she was like, no, can't, nothing with the neck. I can't do it. Because my mother has like a pre-existing injury.
And then
with her
you just
broken
see him
neck,
like reach over and go, spin his head around.
So I mean, I had a good time watching the movie. I didn't have like too many complaints. I mean, if I'm gonna nitpick about the message of this movie, like it literally is in the title. Halloween Kills. It's literally just a movie about him killing fucking people.
So if I was gonna have a complaint about this, it would be that, you know what, like I would have liked to have seen this on HBO Max, and in the sense of like the original fucking Stephen King's It, where it was like part 1, part 2 TV kind of presentation. Right. So like for this, I think this would have been like more appropriate as like 3, TV fucking
Well,
release
from
part
my
1, part 2,
understanding,
part
I
3.
mean, there's gonna be a third one, and that's gonna be the last
Right.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great, again, like that isn't to say it isn't a great, like to see in the theaters. I just like the feeling, the sense that I got from this movie was like, it reminded me very much of, the, like that one
Right.
before, where it was like part 1, part 2.
Well, I mean,
And
in the
you see
sense of
that.
like the canon of Halloween,
Mhm.
I thought they had pretty much obliterated part 2, but they referenced part 2 because there was a person from their uh
Oh,
it
you
was
mean
the
the
nurse,
doctor
and
when he shows up?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that was really cool. Like,
so
I was like,
technically this movie is part 4 in the series,
yeah.
because I
I mean,
mean we
it's a
technically have
soft.
to watch
So
it.
this is this falls into, I think, under the area of the soft reboot again, like that
Yeah.
we've been encountering quite a bit these past few months, here and there. It's not quite ignoring like all of the other movies, but at the same time, like they're cherry picking with where
Right,
they
yeah.
sit in the timeline or whatever.
So I mean
Which
I kind of wonder if
like.
there's
I kind of like that.
if Halloween 3 exists in this universe with Michael Myers. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
they
or
have the
Season of the
masks and
Witch,
stuff.
or Season of the Witch. Yeah,
Yeah.
with
I was expecting to hear at some point that
Yeah.
little this Halloween Silver Shamrock. I was expecting to hear that somewhere
that
in
would
the
have been
background.
perfect.
I
You know what?
didn't, but maybe we'll hear it in the third one.
Maybe that's a deleted scene. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because like that would have been perfect if they'd have played that like when they were in the John's houses, because they had a fucking soundtrack that was going for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like those guys were just chilling and like eating charcuterie or whatever it's called, and smoking the doobers.
Yeah, I saw that scene. I was like, well, that's nice.
Yeah, I was like,
that's totally that'd be
awesome.
down.
Good for
I'd be
you
down for
guys.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
that
Like-
looks like a nice time.
Yeah, I was like,
just
I want to
fucking
party. I want to
chilling.
party with you guys, man. Like,
Yeah, like they're just fucking sitting there drinking, smoking, and watching TV and just
yeah,
eating food and shit.
I want some cheese. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Fucking have that nice, wonderful, this delicious looking spread of
Yeah,
wondrous meats.
yeah.
What-
The
what,
delicacies of deli
And
meats.
they
Yeah.
and I like that house too that they were in. Like,
That's Michael Myers' house. Like
I know,
that was his fucking
I know.
house.
I was like, wait, wasn't that? See, that was where I kind of got lost. I was like, oh, that wasn't the house that burned down. Okay,
no, that was Jamie Lee Curtis's
was-
house. Yeah.
yeah.
Out in the sticks.
Like this was the original one. Because I didn't get that from them, like because there was a part where they scare the kids that go in there and tell them that shit,
Yeah.
but I had to read their lips and figure it out because the audio for some reason in the theater cut out for like a few minutes and they had to go and fix it. So like I saw that and I was like I saw what he said and I was like, oh, this is the house of Michael Myers or something
Right.
like that. Get out of here, you little shits or whatever. And they were like, they do their thing and run off. And then that's where I got like a little lost, and I had to like make it up in my head, like, okay, then I guess that wasn't the fucking
Right. Yeah.
original house. That's why I was asking you here just to confirm it. So
No, it was the Michael
That's-
Myers house.
it's a nice house. It's too bad. What did you think? I really liked one of my favorite scenes where he comes after him, after the victims, is actually at the end when they go into his house and the kids go follow him and the guy goes up to the second floor and he sees his dad stuffed in the attic.
Right.
And like that was a cool scene because he looks up, or rather he feels the blood drops
yeah.
and he looks up, he sees him there, and then you get like a few, like I guess it was a few moments or seconds of silence, because like there were a few shots from like across the hall or whatever, and then like in the other room I think where the girl is in, and then it just sort of snaps back to across the hall. And you see that Michael's in the fucking closet, and you just see the doors just snap fucking to the side, and boom, he just fucking comes walking out like a fucking beast.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Those are
that
good
part.
scenes, yeah.
That was a cool, just like you knew he was probably there around there somewhere, and it's just like fold back, and boom, he fucking comes in there and starts fucking shit up. Like,
that looks kind of like old school, or even like I guess the new ones too, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like Leatherface shit.
yeah.
Where you're gonna just comes at you and like just grabs, like just moves
So,
quickly, you know?
Maybe this is another little interesting twist that it just occurred to me, is that you're used to seeing the victims in the closet in those little shuttered windows and stuff that they can spread apart, and they're usually the ones looking out. And in this case, it was fucking Michael, lurking on these guys or
Mhm.
whatever, and he just fucking like instead of hiding, obviously he fucking kicks the door down and just goes and fucks him up. I don't know. I might be overthinking it, but it just seemed like a cool little observation to me.
What did you think about the daughters, uh, like their roles in this movie? You have Jamie Lee Curtis's
So
uh,
something that I
daughter, and
like about
then
this movie
her
is
daughter as well.
again, yeah, okay. Something that I like about this movie again that I said earlier was that they take the ideas that most people had thought they understood about the background, the myth of Michael Myers, what drives him, and what his purpose or direction is, and like they changed it to make it so that he's like, no, he's just nuts. What I liked about that is that it changed the not necessarily the priority of the daughters in the movie, but maybe like their status, I guess, within the plot as either survivors or like as a part of uh, the part of the story that continues.
Hmm.
It's changed the second they say, "Oh no, like it's really not about the family. Like you guys are like you're irreverent. Like you're not important." Their status, like as survivors or whatever, when then that movie's completely changed, and then that's when they all get fucked up. And I guess that was just another little like flip that I kind of enjoyed.
Now,
It
are
wasn't.
you
It wasn't. It
saying?
wasn't done for just like the sake of like changing it up and be like, ha ha ha, we killed the main characters. I think it sort of happened as a change to what they understood
Do you have a
of
particular moment where that kind of like was evident?
Michael's drive. A moment where that was evident.
Yeah, like where their
Um.
status changed over.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for the daughter of the daughter, yes, because that she flat out like is confronted, face to face with Michael,
Hmm.
and he fucks her up. He fucking
Yeah,
throws her down the stairs. Holy
yeah.
shit! Like she's lucky that like she didn't snap her neck or whatever. Like, and that was what that I've seen quite a few like stair tumbles, and this one was pretty hard. I was like,
And
whoa.
surprisingly, like she didn't get killed, man, because like she was like asking
No,
for
she
that shit.
didn't. It was because her mother came in and distracted Michael, and then got Michael's mask.
Right.
And so, like again, mind of a child, he's easily distracted for the most part, but not like uh necessarily stopped or deterred,
Hmm.
because he's gonna kill whatever the fuck he's focused on or whatever. So I think that was the moment where everything sort of changed to me, because I was expecting that one of them was gonna die, if not both of them.
Hmm.
And then they led into the mob coming after them, and then sort of segue into talking about how Michael is, or rather the assumptions that they had about him were more than likely mistaken, and that it ends with the Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter getting
Right.
uh, killed as a consequence of that change of understanding. And that was so like it changes again, like when both of the daughters confront Michael to the end of the movie.
Right.
That's the section of me that has this shift in I guess the importance of the fucking characters, or rather their survivability. I wouldn't be surprised if in this next one, Jamie Lee Curtis and that other character that's there with him, excuse me,
The cop.
yeah, are gonna like do some kamikaze shit or something in the third one.
I was
It's
expecting Jimmy
gonna,
Lee Curtis to pull that shit in this one, but I mean, obviously, you would think that they have to carry her on to the next
yeah,
movie. I was assuming she
yeah,
was going to do that too, but I mean, I found it funny that she's basically hanging out in the hospital, and even though
mm,
she tries to like participate, like she obviously
no,
can't. She
yeah,
has a fucking huge
she
like
like
wound on her fucking stomach, you know?
yeah, she tears it open. She tears open her stitches, or whatever. They
Right.
had a fairly elaborate surgery scene that I thought was kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
I thought those effects were
Pointless.
pretty good too. Like,
if pointless. I was like, why are you guys showing this? What are you doing? You just
I mean,
this
it still
is
looked pretty cool.
it
It
did
seemed like a
it
pointless thing
did.
because you can get
It's
through that whole
just
scene without showing any of that
exactly. It was
stuff.
unnecessary, right?
Yeah.
This isn't fucking Grey's Anatomy or some shit. Like, what are you guys doing?
But see,
The the only time we should see the
that's where I
guts or
think is that
whatever.
like a comedic element. Like they're just like
I
sticking
don't
on
know.
that one
I
scene
wouldn't
long
be able.
enough. You
I
know.
don't know that. I don't know where I could find the funny there necessarily, Ray. But
Well, I'm not
um,
saying like it's overtly funny, like, but there's like a sense of humor where like they're the shot itself, they're sticking with that one shot for a long time, like, and they're focusing on her little surgery there. It doesn't really play a role. I mean, we know she had surgery. We don't really need to see it, but they stuck with
right.
it. They showed her that she's under. Then they're getting in her stomach and shit. Like, I mean, it was
I
cool
don't
to
know.
see, but I didn't really see the point to it.
I don't.
And
Yeah.
that seems like almost like a. I mean, if you have seen any other Danny McBride fucking shows that he's written, shit on like HBO and stuff like that,
Does he do like weird
you
little
you see, I
tangents
feel
like
like you
that?
see like those little things, like that's his. That might be like a part of his writing
Like
style. Like,
a quirk
let's just
of
like
his
let's just stay on this one. Like,
preference.
let's just show this. Not
Yeah.
not that he had anything to do with the directing because it was someone else who directed the movie, but I don't. I know it's this
Maybe it's just one of those
David.
moments where they're like, all right, let's.
I know it's David Gordon Green, but I'm not too familiar with his work until I see what other movies he's done. Oh yeah, he did Your Highness.
Mhm.
You see. Let me see what other movies he did. I mean, he did Pineapple Express, Your Highness. But you see what I'm saying? Like those are all little elements that maybe they're just like, let's just stick to that one shot. Let's just show her
Yeah,
having
where
surgery. What's the reasoning? I don't know. Let's
they
just
go
do it.
on
Like,
a they go on a tangent and they're like, all right, yeah, let's see how we can shoot this next scene and like make it completely different. Like, oh, okay, all of a sudden we're watching ER or whatever. Like,
yeah.
if you take it in that kind of uh, thought in mind, I mean, yeah, that's kind of nifty. Sure.
I mean, I may be like grasping at straws here, but I'm just like trying to figure
Well, you
out why
fucking
they
have
would.
to because there's no real way we can make any sense of why that sort of thing was included.
Yeah.
It's a horror movie. Like, what do you guys? The fuck? All right, whatever.
All right. Other than like
I
the
really,
kills, are there any other elements of this movie that you thought like stood out a bit?
um, hmm. Let's see. I mean, all of the kills, obviously, he fucks up. I don't know how many groups of people. Two different groups of 2 or 3 different groups of people. The firefighters, and then the mob themselves,
I
and
felt
then
like there was I had some connection as far as like where you feel for the certain characters. Like I felt bad for
mhm.
the fucking firefighters that got killed, you know, because I
Yeah,
mean they
because
weren't
they
expecting that shit. And then
no,
every other like the old couple, and then Big John, Little John too. Like they
yeah,
all got killed, and
yeah.
they're innocent in this whole situation.
But
But then
I was cool with the kids dying. They were little shits. I was like, cool, we got one. Aw,
well,
the other two escaped.
the whole mob, I was just like, kill him, like yeah, like get rid of him. Like
Yeah,
I was waiting for them to fucking die.
yeah, exactly. Because that's like watching it. It was like, oh, this is too easy. They're gonna stop.
Yeah.
They're gonna do exactly what you're not supposed to fucking do. It's so fucking obvious. Like this is gonna, and again, like this is why this falls into that. This movie falls into that category of just like a lot of like old fucking uh styles of horror movies that you can see like how it's going to play out, or what to you should be expecting here if it's going to be something different or something interesting rather, I should say.
Yeah.
Obviously, if this ended with the mob killing Jason, Jesus Christ, Michael, the only way I think that would have worked is as a segue into the third movie. And to do that is that it would have just ended with them beating on him or whatever, like in The Curse. So it's like you don't know if he dies or not. It just ends that way. And then like they would have started the third one with him like getting up and just fucking killing everybody and going off and like doing whatever it is he's gonna do for that one. Because like otherwise, um, you know, mobs, they don't really work. I mean, not in the movies or whatever. Like You kind of expect that.
Yeah.
They sort of,
Well, the last thing I will say is overall, Roland, Halloween Kills. Mind you, you haven't seen the original. What did you think of this one? What are your
no, I
rating?
really
One out
enjoyed
of
it. Like,
five. Do you hail it or do you bury it? What's the
oh no,
scoop?
I'll hail this shit. I'll fucking probably go. I'd watch it again and give it maybe a. I'll give it a solid 3.5. Um, there's a lot in this movie to like.
Okay.
It seems like it's very light on plots and stuff, but like there are a lot of interesting little elements and sort of um, uh, devices, plot devices, or plot structure that they use for this.
Okay.
Nothing like, I mean, not in the sense that we're like, oh wow, I've like, I have this completely new understanding of film or whatever kind of shit. It's just one of those things where it's like it's actually pretty well put together,
Mhm.
um, in like the sense of the pacing, uh, the the camera angles, the shots that they use, the ways that they sort of couch all of the details within the story, a lot of the flashback information, the way they reuse actors, old roles, the way they stick to some of the basic ideas that you get from horror movies, and then the way that the really easily to sort of understand or expect way that they flip that, and yeah, like this movie didn't end. I'm glad this movie ended the way it ended because again, like if you're watching this and you know that oh it's got multiple parts or whatever, and like you're always expecting one of these parts or if it some point in there that the monster gets the comeuppance and everybody wins and they're happy or some shit, like that's the thing I'm always waiting to see, like, oh, don't do this, don't fuck this up, like keep this the way it should be set, and like it'll be great. And
Right.
so that's what they do here. um yeah, I'm looking forward to not watching the first one and getting to the third at
Well,
some point.
I would suggest to watch the first one. I mean, I don't think
Oh yeah, I
there's any
will.
reason not to. But
No, I don't think that. I say it as a joke
yeah,
mostly.
it's on HBO Max. I mean, you can watch it. Anyways,
Ah,
for my rating,
yeah,
I'll
what do
give
you
it
got?
I'll give it like a solid.
How would you rate this compared to the other Halloween movies, Ray?
Well, hold on. That's kind of a big question, but let me get my rating out before I even like go any further with that. My overall rating, I'll say like it's just a straight 3 for me.
Uh,
You know what? You know what? I'll agree with. I'll give it that extra 5. I did like all the kills. I didn't really find it too plot heavy.
well,
It was basically all. It was in the title. I went in to see a movie about this person or this thing killing people, and
yep.
I was hoping to see some elaborate kills, and I
You get
did.
you get a lot of that like very grindhouse feeling where it's like boom boom shit's happening and
Yeah.
then all right dun 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 dun
Yeah.
like
But
murder
yeah, man.
mode.
So I'll give it a solid 3.5. I'd
Mm,
watch it again. I want to go back and watch the
sure.
original as well.
Okay.
So we'll see about that.
So again to my question, how would you stack this up like compared to your other favorites Halloween movies?
Um,
Because
I would
I've
say
seen
like
quite a
part
few
four is
people.
still my favorite as
Part
far as
four is
Michael
still your
Myers
favorite.
is concerned. Um, I probably seen that more than I have any of the others. I've seen.
Which one is
I've,
part four?
what's that?
That's I'm trying to remember part
That's
four.
the return of Michael Myers.
Return. Okay.
Yeah, that's when we get like his. Is it his niece or something? Is
I think so.
he's going after her. But part four is probably my favorite. This seems like a whole other movie to me. So I mean, it's obviously different from part four and stuff like that. But I do like it in the franchise of the original. Like I would like to see them all back to back at some point whenever this is actually complete.
Sure.
So, uh, but as far as like revisiting any of the other movies, I would say part four and part five I'd watch again. And Halloween 3 is its own beast, so like I won't even include that in this discussion here. its own beast that I enjoy. Halloween 3.
I mean, obviously, I still have Curse up there at the tippy top, where it belongs as the king.
That's the Paul Rudd movie, right? I just want to make that very clear. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that actually.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool.
All right. All right.
Just,
I
was
guess that'll
just
be it for
curious
us.
there.
What did you think of Halloween Kills?
Yeah.
Leave a comment below. Make sure
If
you like
you're
and
unsure about
subscribe,
it,
all that kind of stuff.
Go fucking check it out. I mean, like everybody's hard up for checking out good movies lately, and so go see this one.
And
at least.
I've spoken. There's been a lot of mixed perceptions
so?
of this movie, or mixed opinions. I've heard some people say it's very cringy. They didn't like it. They thought the people were stupid. I go, but yeah, but they were stupid. It was the mob mentality.
They are stupid.
Yeah, they are
That's
stupid.
the whole point.
And I think this movie is basically all about kills, and I think they came out pretty well. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So
yeah, it's fucking cool shit.
Yeah. All right. So
very
that'll be it for us for Halloween Kills review. That'll be it. See you next time.